Where should we start?
The beginning is always the best place to start.
As a screenwriter, that's not necessarily true because Simon Barrett said he starts at the end and works his way back.
So downtown LA was an experience. It wasn't what we were expecting really. We went down one street which was just full of homelessness, and it was really sort of harrowing to see just how, like, a few blocks down the road you've got this mass amount of wealth, and then you just drive around the corner and then there's just this section of homelessness and poverty, and it's just, you don't have time to think about it, you just hit with it. So it's really sort of...
There was a couple that were actually washing. They must be sleeping in their car. And when I say washing, what I mean is they had like hand wipes out and were wiping it up their arms and over their face, and it's literally every pavement was crammed with tents and sleeping bags and shopping trolleys full of everything they had in a bag.
Yeah.
It's and to be honest, you see it in movies all the time with people with shopping carts, and you think, that's not true. Like, why would anybody do that? But you literally see people with these shopping carts that are rammed full of the either belongings or things that they've picked up on the walk around, or stuff from trash cans, bins. Sorry, been here too long. And it's a terrible thing to see, in the sense that we're in this lovely apartment and we go to these restaurants because we can, and we think, we can't be bothered cooking tonight, we'll just go out, and we do. And then you go through downtown LA, and then you go down places like Rodeo Drive, and you go to Santa Monica where there's Louis Vuitton and Gucci and Tiffany, and then literally 5 meters away you've got people who are living on the streets with nothing. It's a horrible thing to see.
The things seems almost kind of ridiculous that the level things are at that you don't really expect from, the whole kind of assumptions about this area in Los Angeles. It feels it's just sort of ridiculous that you can drive down one street and then it's just huge towering buildings all stacked together, and then take a corner or turn a corner even, and it's just like, particularly under the bridges, it's just like rows of tents, like, and then you can just see just people like sometimes just lying on the street, sometimes on pieces of cardboard. One thing I noticed is the overwhelming majority of homeless people we've seen seem to be African American, and I'm guessing people of Latino origin.
Yeah, Hispanics.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Hispanics.
Yeah.
That broken American dream, it's so heartbreaking, it really is. It's hard to see it and just to drive through it.
So one of the first events we went to was the diversity talks, which was reclaiming gay for pay and what it means to be out in Hollywood. One of the reasons why I wanted to see that is because there is still a detachment and a lack of embracement of the gay community worldwide, not just in media. And I found it really interesting that one of the actors that was present on the panel, Kean Lonsdale from The Flash, was talking about how his team of agents, managers, were discussing when he was to, come out effectively. And he was quite comfortable in his own skin, and he didn't want to be dictated to by the society as a whole as to whether it's going to affect his career. I think his main objective was to just be himself, and he just literally probably 5 days before that event openly came out through social media. Didn't tell his team at all, because rightly so, it's his decision, and irrespective of how it either helps or harms his career, he was happy enough to do it himself when he was ready and on his terms, which I found to be really interesting. And from what's been said about him recently, he was happy to do it, and people have been really supportive, which was a great thing. And I enjoyed that conversation because it kind of made the point that there are a lot of people out there in the industry that the general public, us, don't know, but within the gay and lesbian community, there is a knowing of certain actors, actresses, well-known personalities that are actually gay, and they are still kind of hiding behind it. So I found that to be really interesting in a lot of respects.
Well, what I've seen of the festival so far basically seems to have kind of encapsulated what I expected from it. The first talk was the Diversity Speaks, about being out gay in Hollywood and just working in film and TV, and whether it's the right decision to come out and how that affects people working in the industry. I thought that was probably one of the best ones we've been to so far, only because the panel was kind of really laid back and easy to talk to, and they were just had a good repertoire amongst each other. There was Kean what's his name? Kean Lonsdale, that's it. He was talking about how he was talking to his agents about whether it was the right time to come out when he's acting in The Flash, and there was one who was in the Real O'Neills that's recently just got cancelled, and about whether he's going to be able to, what projects he's going to get in future, and whether what kind of themes he'd like to be working with. I thought that my favourite panellist was probably Guy Burnham, the stand-up comedian, because he's just had a really fun personality and just talked really openly about what whether it's the right thing to do or when's the right time to do, I should probably say. I'm just thinking, the Screenwriters talk was probably kind of a mixed bag for some of us. We maybe expected a little bit more out of that, just in terms of questions, and maybe something that could have been a bit more addressed, areas that had already been touched on, we already knew quite a fair bit about. The panellists were quite good. Simon Barrett in particular, who mainly works in horror, thriller and dark comedies. He worked on VHS films and You're Next and The Guest, and he helped work with the Blair Witch sequel. I think he was probably one of the better ones because he was also quite laid back and just really open and easy to just kind of get a good idea about what it's like working in the industry from him. And last night was, I think we could all agree, was probably one of the better screenings. Burn Motherfucker Burn. That was a documentary about police brutality against African Americans, and that was just completely, or certainly shocking in some parts. Of the moments that I was thinking, yes, I have heard about this, and then there were others where I was thinking, why, I hardly knew anything about this. And I'm just glad that we went to it because it was just so informative. And I think if you're expected to come out to LA and do these sorts of events, then this will probably give you a good idea of what to expect in terms of the atmosphere and the sort of people you'll meet, and hopefully who you can network with.
So this is my little piece on what I've thought about the previous events that we visited during the LA Film Festival. Okay, so the first one that we went to was the Reclaiming Gay for Pay in Hollywood. I thought it was interesting. Not really something I can relate to personally, but I can definitely understand where a lot of the panellists were coming from and the message they were trying to get across. Yeah, the panellists worked well together. It was very well organised. The questions were all set out beforehand, and everyone sort of bounced off each other and knew when to talk when it was their turn and didn't really interrupt. So yeah, that was a very interesting talk. The second one was the coffee talks, Screenwriters. In all honesty, I was really disappointed with this event. It's kind of the one that we as writers thought we'd enjoy the most and thought it'd be the one that was most beneficial to us, but really it was poorly organised. They were constantly cutting each other up, and they even started the panel by saying, "We don't know what we're going to talk about, we will just leave it up to you to ask questions," which I guess is a big part of a panel, is you get to ask questions, but it would have been nice for there to be some sort of structure to it rather than just shout out random answers and random questions that you want answered. Yeah, Simon Barrett was probably my favourite panellist of that talk. The other two I didn't seem to gel to. There was Linda, sorry her name escapes me, she wrote The Beauty and the Beast and The Lion King, the original sort of 90s Disney animated films. Yeah, I didn't connect with her as well because I kind of found she was being a little bit arrogant towards the whole situation, like she didn't really want to be there. She was just kind of there because she was asked to at last minute. And then is it Doug Chung? I think Doug Chung. Yeah, he wrote Star Trek Beyond, and he was okay. He was very interesting, but Simon Barrett was definitely the guy who I gelled to most because of the fact that he's a horror writer and his background with things like Blair Witch and You're Next, and yeah, I found him to be, and maybe it is just because I'm not a fan of the movies the other people wrote. So Simon Barrett was definitely the person that I gelled with most and got the most information from, because he literally sat down and just said, "I don't write treatments, I don't plan, I procrastinate till 3 AM in the morning," and I thought that's exactly what I do. So yeah, I respected him for that. He wasn't saying, "Oh yeah, you have to plan months in advance and you have to do this." He kind of just said, "I do what I want when I want." So yeah, I respected that about him. And then last night we visited the screening for Burn Motherfucker Burn, which was a ridiculously well-made, well-thought-out, well-prepared documentary about police brutality. From originally it was going to be about the 1992 riots in LA, but he kind of decided that people need to know the history. Sacha Jenkins, the filmmaker, decided that he needed to address events from '65 in Watts in LA, which is obviously a big part of LA's history. It was a very monumentous occasion. These riots were terrorising the sort of black neighbourhoods in LA. So yeah, it was ridiculously interesting to see it from his point of view, and I think it benefited the fact that he wasn't from LA. He's from Queens, New York, and it was kind of he interviewed the police chief of LA at this time, Chief Beck, I think his name is. He interviewed him. He interviewed some old police chiefs. He interviewed some old police officers during the times from the 90s, and I think he even got one from the 60s, if I'm not mistaken. There was a police officer who was still alive who's from the 60s who he interviewed. So yeah, he was the whole documentary was just amazingly put together, amazingly well thought out, and it definitely spoke volumes. And it's going to be one of those documentaries that I think needs to be seen by a lot of people, and I really, really hope it does, because it's a very powerful message and it's information that a lot of people, I think, don't know because of mainstream media kind of sugarcoating it. So yeah, I think it's a very important documentary, and I hope it does really, really well.
We'll just...
Hi!
Hello!
Hi everyone, we're just about to go out and meet the Emmy-nominated producer, Mark Armstrong.
Hell yeah.
And we're all dressed up, ready to go.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
And might I say, I look good.
I think we all look good.
I look better than everyone else, but everyone else looks alright, but I look good.
So what we're hoping to get out of tonight?
Drunk!
A free meal!
Hell yeah.
No, I think it's really important that obviously we just chill out and
See where the
Just
conversations
talk.
take us.
Yeah.
Network.
yeah, network.
Yeah, network.
Definitely network.
Definitely.
I mean, the dream would be for him to turn around and say, well, I'll give you all a job. You can stay out here,
Yeah,
live here.
yeah,
Yeah.
Well, I'll buy you an house.
yeah,
You can pay me back in the future.
yeah,
That'd be blessed.
yeah.
What you
Well,
want.
I don't think that'll happen, but it.
Shh. Don't jinx it.
Okay. We
Believe.
won't jinx it.
You've got to believe.
What you want is an option.
An option deal.
Yeah.
And obviously, if we get a deal, we want
At least 75%.
plus the back end deal, so we get paid when it makes absolute millions and millions and millions. So
Which it
you know,
will.
we get it.
Because I am the talent behind the operation.
I mean, we've got a few bits and pieces, like we've got material that we can
Yeah.
possibly pitch.
Yeah, we've all been rehearsing our pitches.
We have.
I'm really good. I think that'll do. Gives a job. I think that's going to sort it right there, don't you?
So if if the opportunity comes up for you lot, future students, to come here, would you say do it?
Hell yeah.
Absolutely, yeah.
definitely.
Hell yeah. You're literally surrounded by opportunity. There's literally the studios surrounding you. Everywhere you go, you CBS, Paramount, Warner Bros, Universal, everywhere. So it's definitely worthwhile coming.
Plus you got the Writers Guild of America.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Quite local.
Directors Guild, the Cinematographers Guild. You've got literally everything that you could possibly need in the industry around you. Not just for writers, but obviously for
Yeah.
people who might want to get into other parts of the field.
We're also getting our tickets for the events that we're going to.
Hell
as
yeah.
well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and we're going to the festival lounge, aren't we? The
We are.
networking.
Festival
Yeah,
Lounge.
We've
that's
got
really
festival
good.
lounge passes, which are hugely important.
VIP, probably not, but
I don't
Um,
know who you're going to meet there.
that's true.
Yeah.
Mark Hamill was there on opening night, so
Yeah.
And
I don't
Jacob
know.
Tremblay.
yeah, Jacob Tremblay was there, yeah, so be interesting to see who we run into. If anyone, don't get me wrong, we could run into nobody, but
Well, it's
Yes,
Batman
that's it.
night tonight, isn't it?
Batman.
No,
Oh yeah, there's events on. We found out about an event tonight. Unfortunately, we can't actually be there because we're meeting an Emmy-nominated producer.
Such a shame, you know.
But Adam, do you want to tell them what it is that's
Yeah.
happening tonight?
So
Basically-
show your socks.
Basically, in memoriam of Adam West, who sadly passed away not so long ago, they're actually lighting a beacon with the bat symbol into the sky at L.A. Town Centre. So it'll be Town Hall, is it? Yeah, the Town
Yeah.
Hall. Sorry, yeah, the L.A. Town Hall. So it's going to be a lot of people congregating. So there's obviously going to be some probably big names there who want to show their respects. Obviously, it's not an opportunity to go and network with people. It's an opportunity to go and remember Adam West for the person he was and for what he did. So obviously, it's not the kind of event you go to try and meet people and take photos and stuff, because it's going to be a very respectful event. But yeah, I think the bat symbol's a really nice homage to him.
Yeah.
So that's going to be really cool. And hopefully we'll be able to see it from where we are, because
Yeah.
I'm assuming it'll reflect into the sky. The only thing is there's no little cloud for it to reflect off, so
Yeah.
you might not see it. But anyhow.
Okay.
Fingers crossed.
So we're ready to rock and roll?
We are.
Here we are.
Okay, so now we're going to sell ourselves, because that's what we're trying to do. And our products and our scripts and
Mad.
everything.
Sell our minds.
And just, see where this journey takes us. But we'll let you know, and hopefully we won't be too hungover tomorrow.
With laugh at that.